Hi, this is David with David's Tutorials. In today's video, I'm going outside my own learning and my own expertise. I'm going out to the farmer's market in Jackson, Mississippi to interview a man who is now in his retirement career. He brings pastured eggs to the farmer's market. Now you may wonder, why do we need pastured eggs as opposed to the regular kind of eggs that you just buy in the grocery store? I asked Mike Rodriguez in the farmer's market at Jackson, Mississippi to tell us why that's important.
Well, welcome to Amigo Valley Farm at the Mississippi Farmers Market. We're here every Saturday morning, 52 weeks of the year, from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. And here's what we have. We have brown eggs, but what makes them special is these chickens are raised in pasture. They're not confined, so they're always out in the woods or in the pasture year-round, so they get much better nutrition, and the eggs, as a result, are much better tasting and better quality to bake and cook with. Now, Amigo Valley Farm has been in this area now for about 7 years. We're originally from South Texas, so I've been around poultry all my life. We've raised everything that had wings: turkeys, pheasants, quail, chickens, guineas, ring-necked doves, ducks, yes, and even squab. Our feed is a feed that is very, very difficult to find, but it has no wheat, no corn, and no soy for those that do have those allergy problems. And that is a supplemental feed. So most of the time, though, the chickens do feed in the wild. Now, we use heritage birds. We use Plymouth Rocks, Rhode Island Reds, and a few of Production Reds, which is a new hybrid that does produce very, very good high-quality eggs as well. Now, chickens, of course, are becoming now a backyard hobby for a lot of people. And if anyone wants to have any advice or information on how to get into backyard chicken raising, just give me a call or come by here at the farmer's market and see me, and we'll help you out. I've helped quite a few people get started with young baby chicks or started hens in their backyard operation. Now, Amigo Valley Farm is a family-owned operation. My wife and I are both veterans. We're members of the Veterans Farm Coalition. And as a result, we do provide an educational source of information to new farmers on the coalition through their website. So let's talk about labeling. You know, when you go to a grocery store, it gets a little confusing. You have caged eggs. Of course, that means that the chickens are confined in traditional factory farms in very small cages. The cage being only about the size of a sheet of paper. So you can see that that does create a serious stress situation on the chicken. And then you also might find some labeling as cage-free. Well, cage-free is very, very similar to caged. The only situation that makes it different is instead of being in individual cages, the chickens are confined to different levels, up to 4 levels high, which makes it a very, very difficult situation in keeping the eggs sanitary, since you know, the chickens are roaming freely on different levels, and the manure does fall down through the floors of those levels down to where the eggs are laid. Now, the third labeling that you will find is what's called free range. Now, free range is not what you think it is. Free range are chickens that can actually be raised in a warehouse with outside access. That means they have a small door, but the access does not have to be under grass or into a pasture or to woods. It can be concrete, gravel, sand, asphalt, and it cannot be a very big door. It just can be big enough for one chicken to go in and out, one at a time, single file. So that is merely a way of warehousing chickens and providing an excuse for outdoor access, but those chickens rarely ever go out because those particular breeds are hybrids that are not good foragers. Now, good foragers are what you find in a pastured situation. Now, pastured chickens are moved around in a pasture in what's called a chicken tractor. It's like a mobile home for chickens. It contains the nest boxes, water, feed, but when the sun comes up in the morning, the door is open. The chickens stay out all day long in the pasture and in the woods, eating whatever they like, enjoying a tremendously varied menu of wildlife and grasses and weeds and all kinds of flowers and different things that they like, which makes the yolks much better in content for nutrition, but also in color and consistency for cooking. Now, pastured chickens are very, very difficult to raise. You have several options. One is to keep them in a semi-confined area using moldable poultry fencing, which is what we do. They have about a quarter to a half an acre of area that they can move around in, and we move that around the pasture to protect them from coyotes, to protect them from foxes, stray dogs, or anything else that might try to come in and create havoc among the flock. We also have 2 guard dogs, and the guard dogs operate between that fence and the field fencing surrounding the entire pasture. Because without that, we would have a tremendous loss. In fact, before we had the poultry fencing, we were losing 250, 300 chickens a year. So it's a very, very expensive operation when you're using pastured chickens, but the quality of the eggs are what pays off. When you go to a grocery store, look at the different labels and look at the label that says pasture, raised in pasture. And what are you going to find? They're a little expensive. Well, the reason for that, as I mentioned, is perdition. Another is very labor intensive, having to move around all the fencing and the chicken tractors and the feeders and the waterers, and also the washing of eggs and transportation of eggs. It's a very labor intensive operation. But you'll find that when you come to Amigo Valley Farm booth at the Mississippi Farmers Market, our eggs are anywhere from $1 to $4 cheaper for pastured eggs than what you will find in major food stores in Jackson or surrounding cities. So if you ever have any questions about the quality of eggs, the origin of your eggs here in Mississippi, come by the Amigo Valley Farm booth and we'll show you some photos and explain to you the different options you have when you buy eggs. Now, hopefully in the near future, if all goes well, we may also have duck eggs available, which are the best for baking. And you'll find most French pastry chefs prefer to use duck eggs. So we're trying to bring that to you in the very near future. Thank you for being with us. This is Amigo Valley Farm. I'm Mike Rodriguez, a veteran with a cause, which is to provide you with the best eggs you can ever buy.
So now we have a better idea why it really is important that we have pastured eggs instead of cage-free eggs, instead of free-range eggs, instead of just regular unlabeled eggs that we buy in the grocery store. I buy pastured eggs whenever I get the chance. You might want to consider that too. Thanks for watching, and if you have some questions or comments, put them in the comment section down below. If you're not already a subscriber, click that subscribe button and we'll let you know whenever we post another great new tutorial right here on David's Tutorials.